This story certainly isn't as spectacular as many others shared here, but it happened exactly as I'm telling it, and even now, whenever I think about it, I get goosebumps all over. My wife and I had just moved into a new house, one we had inherited, with our daughter, who was nearly 4 years old. The house had been built in the 70s. While it was of solid Central European construction, it was quite run down. Before moving in, we had renovated the ground floor, with the exception of the living room. At the time we moved in, the living room was still a construction site, serving as a storage area for tools and debris. The incident took place on a mild late summer evening. My wife and I were sitting on the terrace, playing cards and chatting. The sun had already set, and we had only a small camping lantern for light. The terrace door leading into the living room was open, as was the door to the hallway, so we would hear if our daughter woke up, something she very rarely did, mind you. We were playing casually when we suddenly heard rapid footsteps coming from inside the house. It is hard to describe in writing just how clearly we heard those steps. They were unmistakably bare feet on the tiled floor of the hallway, moving quickly toward us. I was sitting closer to the door, but my wife and I jumped up at the same time, both with the same clear thought in mind. Our daughter had woken up and was coming to find us. Since the living room was, as I mentioned, a construction site where one certainly shouldn't walk barefoot, especially not a toddler, we wanted to get to her quickly to prevent her from getting hurt. As I entered the living room, I could still hear the footsteps even more clearly now, and I fully expected to see her right there at the hallway door. But just a moment later, when I reached the hallway, I found it completely empty. I practically froze, because I didn't understand what I was seeing. My wife came to my side and froze just a heartbeat later. The hallway was empty and all the doors were closed, except for the door to the children's room, which was ajar by exactly the same width as when we had left it. We went into the room, and there lay our daughter, tucked in and fast asleep. It is hard to explain what was going through our minds, but we felt a compulsion to search the house. My wife stayed with our daughter, while I searched every corner from basement to attic, checking all the windows and doors. Nothing. Everything seemed perfectly normal. We eventually started laughing about the situation, likely our mind's way of processing it, but to this day, neither of us has any doubt that we heard those footsteps, that there was something in our hallway, and it certainly wasn't our daughter. I can add one intriguing detail. The house's previous owners, my great-uncle and great-aunt, both of whom had already passed away by then, had raised a son here in the 1980s. He was their only child and had died in an accident at the age of 16, before I was even born. My mother told me that, in the wake of that tragedy, my great-aunt and great-uncle had locked themselves in the house for several days, contemplating suicide. The accident didn't happen in the house or even nearby, yet I cannot help but link these events in some way. The incident with the footsteps in the hallway happened 8 years ago now, and nothing of the sort has occurred since. We still live in the house and feel happy here.